Peace. This
Peace.
is Joshua Law, Mr. PhD. You're just now entering the cipher called Real to Real 360.
Uh-huh.
K-Wise,
Peace, God.
bring that beat in, kid.
Indeed.
Peace.
Yeah. What's going on, party people? Welcome to the Real 360 show. Let's get it in.
We do the knowledge and wisdom so you can understand. Real 360 shows in full command. We changing the game for how it all was taught. From bondage to freedom to an independent thought. Yo, the show is here to bring about a change for real. To lighten everyone so we all know the deal. 360 degrees is a fact. We created the show to give our love back to our communities so we can know what's going on and give them the support from knowledge to born. So if you're ready to learn, then it's time to go. Sit back and relax and enjoy your show. Peace.
Peace and blessings. What's good, party people? It's your man, DJ K-Wise Allah, a.k.a. Kato, the black superhero. And I'm here with my co-host, the most, my brother in God, Mr. Joshua Allah, a.k.a. Mr. PhD himself. What's going on, Lord?
Peace to the gods, peace to the lost 5%, peace and nature, the gods and nerves. I just want to really get into this right here because this individual came on the scene for the hip hop scene and was one of the great God MCs of that time because that's when knowledge was in the rhymes. So he made sure that he kept that knowledge and that information in his music. And at that point in time, Black is Back, Pure Righteousness was the album that was being heard by everybody everywhere in the tri-state area. The video was magnetic. The crown he had on was serious. You know what I mean? I want to bring the God on. He's one of the founding members of the flavor unit. I want everybody to stand up, clap their hand, and say peace to the God, Lakim. Shabazz in the building.
Peace to man, woman, and child. You know, that's the universe. The universe is everything. That's the sun, moon, and stars. They are planets. A planet is something that is grown to me for the beginning, and you got to be grown to make one.
Damn right. Yo, God, I'm gonna say I remember the first time I saw the video. Black is Back, and it was so magnetic. Always was on your square crown with the tassel just flying, and it was
the whole attire.
You felt the energy just from the lyrics alone. And that was what, 87, 88?
Yes, God, that was actually Bill Bourne.
Bill
89.
Bourne. Bill Bourne. Okay. And I was like, the God is serious with it. Then I don't know if you recall when they had the benefit concert for the 5% Nation at the Apollo in Bill Bourne. I think it was the Equality Month. The Equality Month. And tore that down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, God, that was not to cut your wisdom, but that was my very first time performing in New York. And that show was to raise money for the school. All the profits from that particular show went to rebuild the roof because the roof of the Street Academy had caught on fire. God, that was a very memorable day. All the gods were scheduled to perform. Lakim was the headliner. Kane was there, and God, that was my first time performing in Mecca, and it was an honor and a privilege to tear it down for my nation, man.
God, and you tore it down. You know what I mean? You tore it down.
Appreciate that.
Yo, God, can you tell the people how it was to ensure that you kept the knowledge in the music during that period of time?
Well, with me, you know, at that point in time, I was still young in the knowledge. I was wisdom out of cipher, and you know, I was an eager beaver. God, that knowledge was burning in me. So at that point, whenever I picked up a pen and pad, you know, what I was studying and what I was learning and the influence of the brothers that I was around, that's what I was penning to the paper, God. I had a higher calling inside of me telling the people, telling myself to teach the people. The people need to hear these things that you need to say, God, because a lot of people, within hip hop, you had a few brothers here and there touching upon the nation. They would let you know who they are, but nobody was really actually going into the teaching. So,
Right.
myself, I said, you know what? I'm going to put it out there. The world needs to hear this. Even from the title, I'm raw and rare, stand in a square of pure righteousness.
Right.
These
No
things were
doubt.
resonating in me, God. They said, I was taught that, this knowledge is powerful and it's going to seek expression one way or another. You can't hold it in. So it had to come out, God. And that's how that was with me.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah, that was,
um, Let me ask you a question, G. When you first got knowledge yourself, how did it? What influenced you to come under the teachings and obtain this knowledge yourself?
Well, what actually sparked my interest in learning more about myself was I was in the fourth grade. I had watched Roots when it had first came out, and we had to do homework assignments on Roots. So, and from there, I had questions. I used to ask my mother, my grandmother, is that how we came over here? He really did these things to us, and no one could really ever explain these things to me with no clarity. Not until I turned like knowledge understanding. My uncles were members of the Nation of Islam, so from time to time they would share, writings from the messenger with me. And at 13, my cousin Lamel Bourne had got sparked with the knowledge. And I used to always run behind him, and he began to teach me, and the rest is history. And that's how I became a member of the nation through my cousin Lamel. But what sparked my interest was Roots. Once I saw Roots, I could never understand this is how black people came over here, like for real. And I could never really get no clarity on that. But once I read the 1 to 36, I was like, wow, that gave me some clarity right there. Yep, gave me a lot of clarity, in fact.
Absolutely.
indeed. Now, with the knowledge, and the music being so infused in the times and being so infused where we were going through the situations with Howard Beach and Tawana Brawley and all these things in the 80s, and your music coming out with the knowledge. How much did you realize that it would impact people to want to get knowledge and want to unify?
Well, at that time, I didn't know. It was with myself. It was just a burning desire to let the world know what I was dealing with. The effect that it would have, I didn't know that it would draw, as many people towards the nation as it did. Over the years, I've ran into many who have told me that, yo, God, you one of the reasons why I'm here. God, I grew up listening to your album. My father used to make me listen to your album, so on and so forth. So at the end of the day, now that I've grown with this knowledge and understanding, I see that my music was a vehicle of magnetism to draw people towards the large nation. So grateful for that, definitely grateful.
We're
Pardon me,
we're
God.
grateful. We're grateful that you was a vehicle to make these things happen. A lot of times that when we talk about that period of time with in the 80s, in the mid 80s, late 80s, you had yourself, King Son, um, Poor Righteous Teachers. You had a movement of gods that was coming out of New Jerusalem at that time. You know what I mean? Did y'all ever collaborate, come together, and make something happen together?
Nah, actually, we never did any musical projects together.
Hmm.
However, I built with Wise Intelligence. Me and him is in tune, and I know King Son as well. But far as musically, nah, we never did anything together. But that's something I would like to do with Wise in the very near future. Definitely.
Definitely, because that definitely would be magnetic. Um,
Yeah, man, the world need that. A joint
yeah,
with me and Wise Intelligence. I said me, Wise, and my man, the Genius. I have a goal to do a song with the Genius. My man, the Law Justice. I knew them brothers before the Wu was even formulated. And I have to thank Prince Rakim, Allah Justice, they DJ Allah Mathematics, A Sun, Shabazz, and Mel Kwan. I used to run into them a lot when I was growing into knowledge, and the guards would examine me. A lot of times they kept me on point, God. So I would like to say thank you to them
mhm.
brothers because they was instrumental in keeping me here. because I was young in the knowledge when my album first came out. I would run into them. Mel Kwan would ask me what degree I'm on, so on and so forth. So I appreciate that, to this day. Thank you to my brothers for being my brother's keeper,
Indeed, peace.
Have you ever thought about collabing with someone like Qasim Allah, Mr.
Oh yeah,
Seth?
for sure. In fact, me and the God done a few performances together, but definitely that's my brother. I would definitely look forward to doing something with the God.
I could definitely see you and Qasim on the track burning it down.
My man Japreme Magnetic as well.
Yeah, definitely out of Divine C. Yeah,
that's right.
Divine
C.
Divine C. Yeah. We had Japreme on the show early in the fall,
the first season.
September. Yeah, definitely. Especially seeing them at parliaments and stuff. I can't miss them. So, but the God is definitely powerful with his lyrics. Qasim is powerful, but you stand out. I was listening to a song with you Sadat. You and Sadat X was featured on it. And it's like we're trying to put like a musical discography together for Lakim. And it's like looking at it, these individuals are scared of the God. They're scared of the God because when you hear you on the track, it's mathematics. And they try to suppress the mathematics. You know what I mean? When you tell a person, man, he studied for 35 to 50 years to be God, you know what I'm saying, to study me. And then you turn around and tell him that you're the arm, head of the state. It's like you have to be in tune with mathematics to understand where this is coming from. And
yes, God, definitely. And it's a thing with just, after you've been grounded in this culture for so long, the language just comes out naturally. So when I write, I'm not gonna write a rhyme without speaking the language of God. And that's within every verse I write. Depending on it doesn't even matter the subject, because supreme mathematics is the science of everything in life. So we speak about everything. Doesn't matter the subject, yet when you hear me, you're gonna hear the language of God come out. God.
Actually, fact, and that's something that's a blessing, because the way music has changed from when you got in the industry to the way it is today, it's needing more individuals who have the knowledge of self to teach through the medium of music, because it is missing. A lot of the jewels that we had or we was given when we were babies in this knowledge for us with the music, they're not getting today. How does it seem to you have music changed in a direction whereas you can put this music, put the knowledge back in the music? You can lead a generation of being the God MC.
Right. Well, with modern technology in this day and time, God, there's so many different outlets to get your music out there, mainly by the internet now. But even with that being said, you still have powers that exist that control these streaming services and things of that nature. Yet my thing is right now I'm working on some music, God, and far as bringing it back, it's gonna take those of us that really love the culture of hip hop to take control of it. Right now, certain entities that have control over where this music gets out and things of that nature. We have to come together as a people and take control of it. This is the only way that a balance in hip hop is going to be established like there once were. When I came out back in the day, it was a balance. I mean, it was a strong Black Power movement going on in hip hop, obviously, with your Public Enemy, KRS-One, X Clan, myself, so on and so forth. Yet at the same time, there was a balance. You still had Two Live Crew. You still had Salt and Pepper. You had LL Cool J. You had people that made party music, conscious music, so on and so forth. And it still does exist. It's just that, the powers that control it, I draw it up that they saw that wasn't lucrative. And one thing we can say, we knew Public Enemy was a multi-platinum selling group. At the end of the day, the knowledge and the upliftment and the resurrection of a people who are mentally dead, and you stand them up upright and give them their identity, purpose, and direction, that's a threat to the power structure. So they saw that in its beginning stages, and the powers that exist deaded positive music like that. Yet we've grown as a people and in the music industry, and you have a lot of people in the music industry that have the power to make certain moves to the point that we can balance this music out as it once was. It's just going to take, some strong individuals to be able to implement that. Yet I think it could come back around. We know that life travels in the circles. What goes around comes around. And it was once prevalent at one time, and we can make it prevalent as well again. Definitely.
Indeed, indeed. Um, Also, too, I wanted to go start asking, how did you meet 45 King?
I met 45 King. Actually, I met him through this brother I used to rhyme with named OP. That is the first individual I met him through. And then few years went by. I hadn't seen Mark for a few. And then I started working on some music. By the time I graduated from high school, I was managed by this brother named Abdul. And he actually took me to 45 King. I had met Mark previously about 3 years before then, but we had never really connected. Once Abdul took me to him, he listened to my demo. He liked it. The brother Ab was managing me. That didn't work out too well. So you fast forward 2 years from that, my cousin Lamel, that sparked me with the knowledge, he connected me with Biz and Vaughn. I was actually with Cool V and Biz while they was working on the Vapors album, and they were going to do something with me. I was an eager beaver ready to go. And Cool V basically connected me back with 45 King. He gave me Mark's number. I called him. He invited me over, and we did a little something, and the rest is history. I've been with the 45 King ever since. But that's basically how I met him. I met him through a mutual friend, this brother named OP. Then years later through his brother that was managing me named Abdul, and then finally through Biz and Cool V. Actually, if Biz and Vaughn wasn't working on the Vapors album, I probably never would have got down with Flavor Unit. I probably would have been just one of their proteges. Or I may have been in the Juice Crew. Who knows?
I can definitely see you in the Juice Crew giving them hell over there. Giving them hell over there.
And to this day, we all cool. Like throughout my whole career, Biz and Cool V was always there for me. And me and Kane's relationship, Craig G, the whole Juice Crew, we was all like family, Flavor Unit and Juice Crew. Anytime Kane had a show, we always had the green light to come near. Even now, you could go on YouTube and hear me freestyling at one of Big Daddy Kane's birthday parties.
Okay. That leads me to ask, like, how was the formation of Flavor Unit? Because you're one of the founding members.
I was one of the founding members. Of the funny thing about it, I was the last original member of the Flavor Unit. When I got down with Flavor Unit, they was basically a crew. It was Lakim, my man Lord Ali Bosky, Double J, Chill Rob G, Apache, Nikki D, Latifah. You had another brother named Tahid and another brother named T Capone that had did a song with Apache previously. So once I came into the picture, they was already together, but they didn't have a name. At the time, Lati had a song out called This Cut's Got Flavor. They used to play that a lot on Red Alert show or what have you. So at that time in hip hop, you had a lot of posses, you had a lot of crews. So they was thinking of naming themselves the Flavor Posse or what have you. So, one day we was all in Mark basement politicking about what we're gonna call ourselves, because we was feeding off a Lati single, This Cut's Got Flavor. So me being a god, I was like, nah, I don't want to be called a posse or no crew like everybody else. We need something unique. So I thought about the word unity, whereas we are all together. You got a bunch of MCs with different flavors from different areas of the hood, and we all coming together under one moniker of the 45 King. So I said, you know what? being that this is a unity factor, I'm gonna drop the Y and let's call ourselves the flavor unit, meaning that it's a whole bunch of flavors here, but we form in one unit under one man, the 45 King. So that's basically how the name came together. And that's why they give me credit as being one of the founding members, because I came up, I added the name unit to the crew. Before then, they was just thinking about going with Flavor Crew or Flavor Posse, something like that.
Now, with how many Flavor Unit collaboration songs did y'all do together?
Well, we did. Wow, that's a good one. I've collaborated a lot with multiple Flavor Unit members. I know 45 King had a album on Tough City where we did a few collaborative songs. I did some work for Latif on her first album. I've done work for Apache. We've collaborated plenty of times. Far as songs, not a lot of songs out there. Actually, there's a song out now. Chill Rob G just dropped the album recently. And he has a song with myself and Double J. Yeah, and that's fairly new. So that's a new collaborative joint with some Flavor Unit MCs to give people a taste, to let them know we still doing this, you know.
Right.
Definitely.
Right. So
God, well, let me ask this. Have you ever ghostwrited?
Yes, definitely. I've written for Latifah and I've written for Apache, but it wasn't like, you know, this is like family. You know, it's been times where Apache suggested bars and verses to me. Me and him would sit back and trade bars and critically analyze them. I miss him a lot. He was like my partner in rhyme. Like even now, when I write a rhyme or whatever, I feel him critiquing it. That's my man for life, my rhyme partner, Apache. So yes, I've ghostwritten, you know, but I look at that as like a family thing. I didn't like I've written rhymes, I've written verses for different Flavor Unit members, but I never asked for any credit or anything like that for it. It was just something that we did out of love, you know.
Right.
Now, how do you see, how do you see ghostwriting today? Because you know a lot of artists they don't pen their own rhymes. So
Well, when I got into this, far as with being an MC, the way I came up in it, you wouldn't be respected as a real MC if you didn't write your own rhyme. Now we live in a day and time where this is a business, and you know you have some artists that maybe write their own rhymes and maybe can't, but they know how to deliver it well. So we live in a day and time now where you have guys that will take literally let someone else write for them because they know how to deliver it. Maybe the person that wrote it don't know how to deliver it as well as them. I don't know. To each his own. I just look at that as a fabricated form of MC when you don't write your own rhyme. That's
especially
just how I look at that. You know, you should be able to write your own rhymes. When I came up in this, man, the worst thing you could have did was let somebody know, oh, somebody else wrote this. This is what the Busy B MOD battle was about. Hold on, Busy B. I don't mean to be bold, but put that ball diddy ball bullshit on hold. Let me get right down to the nitty grit. Why I tell you, little son, why you ain't shit. And ain't MC Cup that you don't hug, even bitch your name from the love bug and not a bite a nigga name. It's a low down shit. If you was money, man, you be counterfeit. I gotta give it to you though, you can rock. But everybody know you on the Furious Jock. And I remember Busy from the olden time when my man Spoonie G used to sell your rhymes. See? This is how I came up. I came up in that era. So if a person heard about somebody else wrote a rhyme for you, man, you could get smashed for that. Kumo D exposed Busy B in front of everybody in the Harlem world for that same thing. But you know, in this day and time, half of these people that's rhyming now, they don't know nothing about the history of hip hop. So that's something that I want to get into, teaching hip hop history classes. This is one of my goals. I think it's needed, very well needed, especially with the youth that embrace this culture in this day and time. They need to be educated about the roots of hip hop, what hip hop actually means. What hurts me more than anything in this day and time, whenever they mention hip hop, they center it around rap, not realizing that hip hop is actually a culture. Rap is only one element of hip hop. Hip hop begins with the DJ. The oldest element of hip hop is the graffiti writer, because they've been putting up graffiti on the trains in New York since the late 60s. And some of them kids was Latino, some of them were Caucasian. So when Herc brought that music out with that equipment, You know, he was attracting the youth from the Bronx. You know, you had the gang members, they would come out there, original people. Then you had the Latino, and you had some of the Caucasian rap writers was out there too. They've been around since the inception of this hip hop culture. The DJ. Without the DJ, we wouldn't have hip hop. Would you look at hip hop now? Where's the DJ? You hear
Right.
any scratches on people's songs anymore? It's crazy.
No.
Everybody using Serato. You very seldom get to see anybody spinning on the two turntables anymore. So I give kudos to all the DJs that still do, you know, still could show you a little tricks here and there on the wax. But without the DJ, we wouldn't have this culture of hip hop. The MC was born from the men standing around the DJ. As the DJ spinning his music, he always got some brothers around him. He like, look, here, talk to the people. I don't know what you want me to say. Just talk to the people. Make a move. This is how the MC was born. And then the last part was from Hurt playing these funky beats, the break dances. So there you go. The four elements of hip hop. You got graffiti, you got the DJ, you got the rapper, and you got the break dancers. And they say the fifth element is knowledge itself.
Now,
And a lot of these children know nothing about that. So if they watching this, they just got a quick history class about the history of hip hop.
have you been to the museum in Pelon or the one down in
Not
NYC?
yet, God. Yet Chris KRS-One reached out to me in reference to it. So I'll definitely be making a visit up there. To my understanding, they have me in there somewhere. You know, so I'm
They should, because like I've been saying, the truth and reality of it is you're a hip hop icon. And
appreciate that, God.
when you think about hip hop of the 80s, you're talking about knowledge of self, individuals who was forging through, breaking down barriers, teaching the youth with the knowledge, you know what I'm saying, lyrically, and keeping everything on point. See, a lot of people could, you know what I'm saying, get on the mic. There's very few that could actually MC. You know what I'm saying? So when you got on the mic, you could MC, lyrically inclined. So that within itself puts you in the iconic stage when you could say
Appreciate that, God.
you influence individuals, you know. And
Yes,
the God Shakim, he told me, he said peace. Harlem God Shakim, he out there doing the knowledge on the YouTube live right now. So he said tell you peace,
God.
Lord. But that's, like I said, God, is because coming through the 80s and having the knowledge, it was fire. It was fire. Everything was examination. You know what I mean? And we were able to walk and talk, and there was nowhere you couldn't go where you couldn't find your light.
This is true, God.
Now, individuals have transitioned to the internet realm more so than in the physical form, you know what I'm saying, on the streets. How has that impacted you? You know what I'm saying? Because you've been here a long time.
Myself, I spend very little time on the internet, God. I have a breakdown for that internet thing. When they first came up with it, I was interested in it because they titled it the Information Highway. I said to myself, they done invented a way for us to acquire information pretty much about anything at rapid speeds. That was positive. Then my mind said, boop, here's the negative effect of that. What's going to happen with the libraries? They said, I said, okay, they done invented this means for people to acquire information at rapid speeds. Information pretty much about anything. Although the things that you do get off of Google, I always tell people, don't take nothing on face value. Yet they did invent a means for us to acquire information at rapid speeds. I said, this is going to have a negative effect on the libraries. And over the years, it has. You know, you have people that are still traditional that, like myself, there's nothing like the organic feeling of picking up a book and actually reading it. We live in a day and time where they promote everything through the internet. Everything is digitized per se. So when they first came up with it, I was like, okay, Information Highway. A few years from there, they changed the name. They said now it's the World Wide Web. That title in itself had me thinking, God. I said, the World Wide Web. Well, why would they want to call it the World Wide Web? What animal is it that spins a web? A spider. What does a spider do with his web? It catches his prey. So you mean to say these people done went from the information highway to the World Wide Web? They done spin the web all over the entire world, and the people that enter the net every day have been caught on the spider's web. Even the term internet. They said Jesus was a great fisherman. What did he use to catch his fish? He would throw out a net. Well, these people have thrown out a net over the entire world, and almost at least 95% of population are online into that net at least about 8 hours of the day. Some people can't function naturally unless they on Facebook or Instagram or something like that. So I look at it, I use it for what it's worth because there's a positive and negative in everything. You can use it. Like I said, it's the information highway is a means where you can generate funds and things of that nature. Yet I limit the time that I'm on the net. I always tell people I'm not one of them fish that done entered the net that can't get out. I am not one of these little insects that's caught up on the World Wide Web. It's just like any realm of six. I'm going to be God. I can enter it as God, and I'm going to exit it as God and not allow myself to get caught up in it.
That's your fact. That's your fact. With everything that's been going on, your new project that you're working on, do you have like a release date for it and the name already?
Now, Cypher God, it's basically in the baby stages. I have a lot of songs done. I'm not signed to anyone, so I'm financing this myself. However, you'll be getting some music very soon. Very soon. I'm striving to drop some joints for the weather when it warms up. Definitely.
Shakim said he sent you some music, so y'all gonna link up real soon.
Looking forward to that. Definitely.
Excuse me. When you speak about being unplugged from the World Wide Web and being able to step in and step out and show and prove that you God, regardless to whom or what books that you read outside the Book of Life and the 120 lessons that keeps you energized?
As a man thinketh, so is he. I have a lot of books, God. I have a large library of books, yet that very small pamphlet is very informative because it goes into the science of thought. Your thoughts can compel you or dispel you. Simple. As a man thinketh, so is he. Once a man learns to control his thoughts, he can control his actions. The original man has the power to do this. Today is power. That's having the will to do what you must do to achieve your goal. Power is the truth. The more truth you tell, the more power you have. As long as you tell the truth, all lies die. Yet if you lie, you take away all your power. So one of the most informative books I like to read is As a Man Thinketh, So Is He. Message to the Black Man, definitely. The Messengers read writings and so many others, man. I have a whole library of books, God. Yet I like to refer back to As a Man Thinketh, So Is He. That book right there definitely keeps me focused. And there are many more, man. Lots of them, definitely.
Well, have you indulged in, how many times, I know you've read 48 Laws of Power and
Yes.
The Art of War. How have those books influenced you in the way that you move today?
Well, I take the best part from anything I read, God. That's like with any information that I read, be it is something, the 48 Laws of Power, the Art of War. It could be a book like Back to Eden or African Holistic Health. Any information I read, God, I'm striving to take the best part that I could apply to myself that's beneficiary for me, self, and family. And that's what I do, God. That's with any body of information. I'm always looking to draw the best part. because the original man is going to keep and preserve the best part for himself. And we let the half originals gravitate to the poor. Right.
Actually,
Be wary of them half originals. They always gravitate to the poor part.
They always. Them half seas is something serious. Lord, for as like we be explaining a lot of times like the dietary laws, you know, and how individuals transition from becoming vegetarian, vegan, and pescatarian. Have you experimented with any of that?
Yes. Well, I never been a total vegetarian. However, at a few years ago, I had stopped eating red meat. At one point in time, all I would eat was poultry, like chicken and fish and vegetables. Like right now, I still eat. I eat the way Allah said that we can eat. Allah said, you know, son, you can eat a little beef. You're here in the wilderness of North America. The beef will make you tough. You're gonna need a little tough skin, son. I remember Brown C, my brother. Brown C. Shem God, he was telling me that you know, he was on the vegetarian tip, and he had saw the father with a couple of the brothers, and the father had said to him, he said, son, you see them brothers you with, man, they'd tear you alive, man, because you eating vegetarian all the time. You know what I mean? You need a little bit of tough skin on yourself. So he allowed us to partake in beef. He allowed us to eat chicken. Chicken is a uniquely constructed animal. It got two digestive tracts. What it intakes with one, it flushes out with the other. If you clean it properly, the meat is light. It's something you can digest and you can eat it every day. The beef, you know, when you look at the diet of a cow, if it's raised properly, all it eats is grass. It's a vegetarian. You can get a lot of protein from the beef. And as he said, we here in the wilderness of North America, we wanted to be a little tough to be able to deal with the elements out here. And fish, you know, fish lives in a different environment. A lot of people think just because it's fish and that it lives in the water, it's okay to eat. No, we have scavengers on land and we have scavengers in the water. And we have writings and teachings that teach us about this. Anyone that likes to refer to the Bible, you could read Leviticus. You know, Leviticus teaches you about clean food, unclean food, so on and so forth. Yet, fish is good. I eat whiting fish and I eat salmon. I don't mess with nothing else up out of the ocean. The fish lives in a totally different environment. It lives in water, one of the most important substances of life. You know, without the water, we can't exist. Yet everything that exists in the water ain't clean for us. You know, that's a teaching that they teach in the religion of Islam. They say because it's out of the water, it's halal. Yet, you know, just because it's in the water to me don't mean it's clean. It still can be a bottom feeder, feeding off of all the little dead things that's creeping and crawling off the bottom of the ocean. And then the people catch these things, they fricassee it up, season it up, and they eat it. You know, from small water roaches to large ones. You know, yeah. But the dietary laws are very important, man. One of the greatest things you could teach a person is how to eat to live. That's the first thing we learn, is how to eat to live. Anybody desiring to be a member of this nation, especially the young guard, we put them to a test. We see if they could fast for 3 days. You know, this is very important because majority of our people have been made blind, deaf, and dumb. Two people on the planet. One made blind, deaf, and dumb. One made weak and wicked. We got to teach them all how to eat to live. It's our job to teach all the human family of the planet Earth, so I don't discriminate, you know. Yet I'm concerned with my people, the original people. And one of the first things we do is teach them how to eat to live. Because they've been fed the wrong foods for so long. The wrong foods mentally and the wrong foods physically. They say that pork is a poisonous animal. That's right. You put in organisms that will rightfully kill you. See, pork, Pork. You putting obstacles inside of your body that can really kill. You know, it's a poisonous animal. So we here to take that poison up out of their minds and up out of their body. You know, the Caucasian man is a scientist. He knew what he was doing by feeding us pork. That put 6 ounces of dead flesh on our brain. Firstborn taught us, he said, you can't get off the swine unless you know, you got to stop beating it for at least 7 years, and it ain't going to get up out of your system unless you deal with the proper fasting. So how to eat to live is very important. Brown C said that God, that's one of the greatest things you can teach a man is how to eat and live. Because if they eating right, they'll be able to comprehend these teachings. He said that Allah says, son, the only way a man can comprehend my teachings is if he's still eating wrong food. So how to eat and live is very important. And this is something that we must teach. Definitely.
Definitely. Um, and you touched on it about fasting when you get knowledge, and
Mm-hmm.
and how a lot of people they have the issue sometimes with the word refinement, but you get refinement when you first get the knowledge, whether you know it or not. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
to clean yourself up, you must, what I'm saying, in order to receive knowledge, it must go into a clean vessel, and that means them 3 days, 3 days, depending on who's your educated, 3 to 5 day fast, and
Right.
then you're able to, receive, the knowledge of who the true and living God is, and with the babies today, do you see any programs that in your area where you are in New Jerusalem that the gods are making a real impact in?
Well, there is one program that we have in place, and it's called the North Street Academy.
Mm-hmm.
The mayor Raz Baraka spearheaded this. One of my brothers, the God colleague, he's the director of the North Street Academy, and my brother God Elevation is one of the staff members.
Mm-hmm.
The Street Academy, what it deals with is they intake disengaged youth from the ages of, I would say, from 13 to 21. And
Mm-hmm.
what they do is re-engage them back into society, prepare them to acquire their high school equivalency diploma, and
Mm-hmm.
bring them up to their scholastic level as far as being with reading and math. We also teach them the science of entrepreneurship. This program has been in effect now for 6 years. I'm not one of the staff members. The God Elevation is, yet they have a knowledge of self class that they
Mm-hmm.
teach there. And he gives the brothers the green light to come through the door and teach whenever we can. So whenever I can, I go down there and I add on and I teach. You know what I mean? These youth, because they need it, man. It's a lot of disengaged youth out here, and we need more programs like the Street Academy. Since this program has been implemented, they have an 80% graduation rate. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, these youth come to us with all types of trauma, man, from abuse, rape, you name it, broken family structure, drug abuse, so on and so forth. We get the youth that remedial schools and your basic schools done turned their backs against. They feel like they can't handle these youth anymore. So we get them and we transform them and resurrect them back to life because we have the knowledge to do this. So yes, there is a program out here in Newark, a very good program called the North Street Academy. And our brother God Elevation is one of the staff members. The God colleague is the director. Raz Baraka bear witness to these teachings. Actually, back in this had to be about born at a cipher when the Law B was locked up. I think he was in Shawanga Institute upstate. They had set it up for me to come and perform in the prisons for the guards. And that day when they came to get me to take me up there, it was Sister Soldier, Raz Baraka, the guard of law culture, and another guard named Shamin to take me up there to perform for the God of Law Beast. So I knew from back then that Raz Baraka was familiar with our teachers. And then years later, I come to find out that my brother Wazine Everlasting had taught him. So once he became the mayor of Newark, I said, wow, we got our mayor's man. Just
Mm-hmm.
like Allah had his mayor's man, the only difference is that our mayor is original and he bear witness to the teachings. So once he got into office, he gave us a list of vacant properties out here. Vacant lots, different properties that were up for foreclosure and so forth. And me and the guards, we would go around Newark looking for a property, but a lot of places that we were looking at, we couldn't get into them. So eventually, the mayor went ahead and he had some people in mind that he wanted to implement this program. And eventually, the Street Academy name comes directly from 2122 7th Avenue, from our headquarters. And It's been a beautiful thing, man. I am so grateful that they have it. And the God, what he does, elevation, he posts his videos every day to show the world the progress and what we're doing with the youth. I mean, they take them on trips since the Street Academy has been in existence. He's taken the staff to a law school. They've spoken with Firstborn, Ibiji, and spoke to them about the origin of the Street Academy, so on and so forth. A lot of the guards were there. Uh, it's just been a beautiful experience, man, so far. Pardon me, God. It's been a very good experience, and they have a very great successful rate as far as graduation rate. So, yeah, man, we have the North Street Academy out here. It's doing well, and we're going to continue to build and resurrect the people back to life, God, definitely.
Definitely. That's great to hear that people can see that the gods is never not building. At any given time, we're always building. We're always adding on. We're always striving to reach the babies because at the beginning and end of the day, you know what I'm saying, the babies are the greatest, and those are the ones who have the target on their back from the devil. You know what I'm saying? Because if they can pluck one of the babies out, you know what I'm saying, they know the future comes with them. So if they can stop them from
Yes,
learning,
we live in a very, very dangerous day and time. I just saw a news clipping with this Caucasian man, and right now they striving to implement in the schools, God. They striving to teach these children that a boy is not a boy,
right,
a man is not a man, a
right,
woman is not a woman, a girl is not a girl. So my thing is, well, what are you going to tell them they are?
yeah,
And regardless of what you try to tell them they are, as they get older, they're going to read. They're going to read about vegetative life. They
hmm
will read about the animal world. They will learn that in those worlds, you do have a masculine and a feminine. You
feminine,
have what's known as a female dog. You have what's known as a male dog. So these youth who you striving to plant these unnatural thinking patterns into their psyche, they will eventually, long as they can read, they'll study and come to the understanding like, hold up, I got to be one or the other. Either I'm a male or a female. But these, I bring that up to let you know the importance of teaching them,
hmm
and they say the babies are the greatest. Yes, they are. But one thing I always tell people, I say, let children be children. They say, why you
right,
say that, God? 'Cause I say, I see so many, members of our nation, or whether they're not a member of this nation, not. I see so many people try to teach the children the knowledge. And if you raising your child from birth or what have you, and you speak the language of God, the child is gonna pick up on it because you naturally speak it. Yet
hmm
let a child be a child. I always tell people, man, from the ages of 1 to 12, let them be. Long as you don't feed them no religion and you keep them away from swine, they'll be fine. The highest
hmm
that the clock goes up to is knowledge and wisdom, going through knowledge and wisdom, which equals quality. Once
hmm
they, after the age of 12, they done into the new phase of life called teenship. Now they ready to knowledge, to understand, and now you could begin to ground them in culture. This is one of
hmm
the reasons why the man said, "Let a child be a child." I
hmm
see a lot of people trying to teach their children. I say, "Man, what's his degree? He's 7, man. Let him be a child. Oh God, let him be a child." You get him at 13, now he ready to knowledge, understand. The
yeah,
man said the proper marrying age is 16. He said, I want y'all to concentrate on those that are 13 and 16. He said, why? At 13, they off the clock. 16, they ready to be married to me. Simple.
hmm
So let a child be a child. Yet, we must teach them. We must educate them about basic natural principles of life, like man, woman, boy, girl,
yeah.
masculine, feminine. These are things they striving to implement in the school. So be mindful of the school you choose to send your child to. It
it'd
may
be
get to a point where we may not be able to send our children to none of these schools. We're just gonna have to homeschool them, period.
right.
Because
And
of what they teaching out there is very dangerous to their growth and development. You
what's
know?
funny about and it's not funny, it's sad that regardless of whatever they trying to teach a child, you can identify with whatever you want to, but you can never deny your nature. You
That's
can
right.
You will never
You
deny
can't.
you cannot deny your nature. So regardless to whom or what, something happens to you, and you done whatever you want to, but you can never deny your nature.
That's right.
You will never deny your nature. You can. Somebody got a feedback somewhere.
Right, I heard it.
But when we something happens and you have to go under the study of these doctors and ministers and lawyers and what have you, you will always be what you was born, what your nature was, and that's what
right.
they're going to tell you. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of your transition physically, you know what I'm saying? Your DNA and your nature never changes. You know,
It won't. Furthermore, whenever someone, nature is so beautiful that the natural mind is going to question that which is unnatural. Simple. Simple. It's going to question it because it's against nature. If you are a natural creation, when something that's unnatural is being fed to you naturally, you're going to, hold up, what's going on with this? You're going to question that to see if it's valid or not. But yeah, God, we live in a real serious day and time. We are familiar with the scriptures, most of us. Most of us have have read the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. This is a modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. This day and time we live in it, modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. And if anybody know anything about that story, that city was destroyed and never rebuilt. So this system or this empire, what they striving to set up, a wicked empire, I see it to be destroyed as well. I have no fear. I tell people, as long as you one with Allah, man, there's nothing to fear. And I ain't talking about no mystery God. Allah is a man. I ain't never met him. I had to meet him through his sons. I'm grateful I did meet him through his son. The man said, don't miss me, be him indeed. And a lot of us don't went away from that. They wonder why the seats and things of that nature been dwindling and at the parliaments and stuff like that. Well, it's an elephant in the room. The big elephant in the room is women and children. Simple.
I tell you, a lot of
fill
people
the seats up, teach. Simple.
A lot of people are married to the mind. They're not married to the mind of Allah when it comes to these teachings. A lot of people didn't have the sincere understanding when they got this knowledge. It wasn't about this knowledge for a lot of individuals. Growing up, a lot of times this was because my man got knowledge, you know what I'm saying? We run together, and individuals, instead of focusing on being God of the universe, he wanted to be God of the block. So
right, exactly.
So when
a lot of people joining for whatever reasons, at the end of the day, it's up to us who are in the know that love this and who are sincere to it to continue to teach. That's what my life is dedicated to. No matter what, I'm gonna continue to teach. One thing my brother been asking brothers lately, he said, "What does the law world manifest look like to you?" And you'd be surprised about some of the answers you get. Yet at the end of the day, the first wave of brothers, even when I read that book, the last one that they published about, where they have all of these recorded accounts from those that walked and talked with Allah. The ultimate theme in that book is teaching. Whenever we speak the firstborn, ABG, and we do from time to time, the ultimate message is God keep teaching. As long as we teach, Allah lives and he can never die. So that's the key to our salvation, is to teach. We got to keep our minds focused on those that are coming after us, predominantly the youth, man. Those who are 13 and 16. Yeah, and I don't deny no man knowledge if they sincere. If you sincere and you want this, you can come and get it. All I ask you is to pay attention, like knowledge God said. He said, the knowledge is free, God. All you got to do is pay attention. Right.
That's it. Like I said, Lord, we coming down to like the last 5 minutes of the show. So is there any message, that you want to put out, any music that you want people to look out for before we get to that?
I will keep everyone informed as to the new music that's coming out. But for right now, just check out that new Chill Rob G album. That's my brother. You know, we got to support one another. You can check me out on there. I got a song on there with Chill Rob G. It's called Rockin' with the Best. But other than that, I will keep the world informed. And very soon, y'all going to be hearing something from the God Lakim. Definitely.
I want to say honestly, this has been a pleasure. Like we have sat there and built with you. Now it's 3 years ago at the 2019 show Improved before the pandemic, and it was a pleasure and an honor then. It is a pleasure and an honor today. Always looked at you as one of the great God MCs, and you were more than what hip hop, you know what I'm saying, would ever understand you to be, because what you meant and what you mean to our culture and our nation. With the knowledge that you have led many out of the triple stages of darkness. And we want to just let you know we appreciate you for that.
I appreciate it, God. You know, the pleasure is all mine. And what that says to me, it lets me know that I did my job, God. It's
You
all
still
our
do.
job. We all signed up for this. Once you
Right.
learn the 17th degree, you learn the meaning of civilization. Once you learn the 18th degree, you learn the duty of a civilized person. Once you learn the 19th degree, you learn the penalty that comes by not making knowledge born. And then it's reiterated in the wisdom at a cipher degree. So those 4 degrees are very important to me. I keep them prevalent in my life. And as long as I do and keep my eyes on the prize, we will be successful in our undertaking.
Actual fact, Almighty
Yeah,
God.
Praise the Lord.
Like I said, God,
Indeed.
I
Peace
just
to the
want
gods.
like I said, this has definitely been a pleasure to have the God Lakim Shabazz on this platform today. I think about a lot of times we go back 40 years, and when the God first come out, his impactful magnetic is still seen when he was a young God, and you didn't realize he was Wisdom Cipher. He looked younger than that. When Black is Black came out, he looked like he was just like in the non-cipher grade, the 10th grade, and he was on his square. But you could see the seriousness and sincere in the mathematics that he was building on. So I want to thank you, God, for coming on. And I want you to know that anytime that you got anything that you want to bring, you know what I'm saying, bring out or make knowledge born about, feel free to come to Real 360. This, you know what I'm saying, this is Allah's house, and you're welcome anytime. You are our brother, and you know what I'm saying, we got nothing but love for you.
I appreciate that, God, and the love goes back as well. I appreciate you having me here, and you'll be one of the first to get those new joints, God. Definitely.
Appreciate you, Almighty God. Appreciate
I
you.
appreciate you as well, God. Peace to the gods, peace to man, woman, and child. Keep ascending, and we gonna keep blending, righteously blending. Peace.
Yo, Lakim, if you don't mind, just stay. If you can hold on for about 5 more minutes after the show is off, so we can add on after the after party.
Will do, God, definitely.
Pardon myself, everybody, for me going in and out. As you see, most of the time, if I got to go in and out, there's some technical difficulties that I be striving to get back on track and everything like that. But as you can see, the show was still continuing and we still building with the gods. Ladies and gentlemen, before I do go, I got to say this because during that time under the bill born that year, I was overseas in the military. And I remember one of my friends had brought a tape over. And when they started playing it, I was listening to the beat and I'm like, oh yeah, that's high right there. Then I heard the voice. I was like, wait a minute. I said, hold up. Is that Chuck? Is that Chuck D? I said, wait a minute. The voices were so similar. I was like, I said, he sound a little bit like Chuck. But then when I actually saw the video, and then I'm looking at the G, I said, yo, that's the God right there. And I'm like, now the God, his face and the voice, when you look at it, it's like, that don't match up. You know, it seems like he
didn't mesh together.
The baby face. You know what I mean? The God had the baby face. So I'm like, yo, his voice too deep to be having all that bass in it.
Yeah, people they used to get on me about that, like, how that big voice coming up out of you. I said, yeah, I got the voice of power. That was a lost truth, bringing that voice forward. And now when I rhyme, you'd be surprised, it's more mellow. calm, monotone, real smooth like now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm more seasoned on the mic now. Back then, it was just fire. You know. Now I'm
That
more
was my
laid back,
story.
more smooth,
Yeah.
controlled delivery. You know. But yeah, God, I'm grateful though, God, more than anything. It lets me know, as I said earlier, that I did my job, God. My job is civilizing those who are uncivilized, attracting my likes to myself, and repelling those who are unalike away from me. I saw that
Absolutely.
through my music, I've been able to do that. Through my daily walks of life, I'm able to do that. Through the people I work with, the people I interact with daily. Doesn't matter what ethnicity they from. I'm going to exist within myself and shine light. That's just being myself and teaching the truth that's been given to me. Because I know that this is the salvation of the world, man. You know, we have the key to everlasting life. And as
Absolutely.
long as we teach the youth, those who are uncivilized, they will change the world eventually. The woman could turn civilization, yet God, we change. Definitely.
Definitely.
Indeed. Peace, God. Well,
Peace to the
greeting,
God.
boss queen. How you doing, boss? Business queens in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the knowledge, you have heard the wisdom, and I hope you have understood the words that was manifest and made knowledge born here this evening. We'd like to give a special shout out to our special guest, the God Lakim Shabazz. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. And again, echoing the words of my brother, this house is your home as well. And whenever you feel like you want to return and kick your feet up, you're more than welcome. You know what I mean?
Peace,
And
God.
the stage is your platform right here. So it's all good. And again, like I said, just stand by for about 5-10 minutes after the show, and we'll be building right back. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of my co-host, my brother in God, Josh Shamel Allah, we say peace to Allah's 5%, peace to the nation of gods and earths as we all live. Peace to all human families on the planet Earth. And like the God said, you know, study, live right, love right, and everything will be all right.
Peace.
All right. That's the one thing.
Peace.
On that note,
Peace.
as the God said, we say peace, one love. And this is the Real
Peace.
360, and we are Audi 5000.
Peace.
Peace. All right. Yes, sir.